Hello, everybody. Hi, welcome. My name is Grace Bubek, and today I'm talking with Prajnaparamita. Hi, Prajnaparamita.
Hi, Grace. Great
Thank
to
you.
see you.
Yes, thank you for joining me with this topic, which is spiritual community. Um, Prajnaparamita is a spiritual teacher and guide, guiding people home. She has been doing that for 20 years. And she lives in France when she's not traveling, in a community, small community that also welcomes people for retreats. And so it just came to me to speak to her on the topic of spiritual community. So maybe we could start, Prajnaparamita, by you telling us exactly what that is, like how many people you have living there permanently or for how long, and how you function, just to give people an idea.
Mhm. Yeah, we found this property in France 9 years ago. It's very ancient, um, deep in the heart of France, in nature.
Mm.
And we have big gardens and lakes and ancient trees and horses and lots of animals and crickets and frogs. And I just came here. I've been around for 20 years giving retreats everywhere, and it was always quite demanding to settle in a retreat center and give a retreat and then move on. And it is such a privilege to have our own place where people can come and go. So most of the year I'm here in France. Originally I'm from the Netherlands, so I also travel a lot to the Netherlands and other countries. And when I'm here, every week we have a retreat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a week retreat. And people come for 1 week, 2 weeks, 7 weeks, 100 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
forever. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so that varies a lot. And people come and go in the rhythm of their lives. They have families, they work, jobs. And so it's a very natural movement of people coming and going.
Mm-hmm.
And also the size is very different. You know, there are weeks that we have smaller groups, and there we can have on the property 50 people.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the max that we can have on the property. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so how many people do you have there permanently?
That is also a little bit different. Now there are 4 people, so it's a small group,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them sometimes also have jobs. So there's always juggling how to attend everything in a good way, but we always manage somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, do you mainly have people from France or from the Netherlands or from all over Europe?
Yeah, from all over the world actually, but most of them from the Netherlands.
Okay.
Yeah, most or from Europe, but also from New Zealand or India or Iran, or there are other countries also, but most for them it's easy to come,
Yes.
to the middle of France. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So how does this living in community, how does that, um, what is that like in your place? I mean, do you have like, community meetings? Do you have, how do you integrate people who come on retreats? How, tell us a
Mhm.
little bit more about
Mhm. Yeah,
how
it
that
feels always
is.
family life. It feels always as a tribe. We have young people, older people, from all kinds of cultures and backgrounds, and so it's always a yummy mix. And
Mhm.
We do everything together here. I also stack wood and pull at the brambles, you know, we do everything together. So we look at people's energies and if they like to be physical or that they like to be more quiet in themselves. And then together we do everything. So we have huge vegetable gardens, everything organic, all the food is organic. And so that is, of course, quite demanding in care. And we always plant lots of trees. And so there's a lot of our energy that goes into the land. And then we cook and we take care of the household and the animals that we have here. So that actually the day goes this the day starts with a meditation in the morning meditation, and then there's breakfast. Then everybody does something in the morning, and after lunch, people spend their day as they like. Maybe they want to go for a walk, maybe they want to go for a nap, maybe they want to meditate. And then after dinner, every night there is satsang in the evening. So that is generally how we spend the day. And of course, it has lots of variations. But this is basically a rhythm that serves very, very, very well. And we spend the day is in silence. And at coffee, we come together and we talk about everything, whatever comes up. And very often that develops into a satsang, so some natural, homely gathering. And then we talk, of course. And during satsang, people talk.
Yes.
Yeah. And we have music, you know, so yeah.
I'm very interested in the coffee satsang.
Yeah, you know, sometimes we talk about the berries, that the berries are so nice. Or sometimes somebody talks about a new job. It can be anything. Or we talk about politics, it can be anything. But most of the time, it develops into something deep. Yeah. Intimate and deep. Yeah.
Yes. That feels, you know, to me, it feels like that's the most organic way that we can have satsang, you know. It's like, because that possibility is always there to really listen deeply. What's at stake there, you know? So the berries aren't just sweet, but life is sweet, you know.
Yeah, and that's why I ask people not to chatter. It's so easy to forget in the chatter. And so many people have forgotten to be what it means to truly be in touch. To truly be in touch with themselves, with what they feel, with what they think, with their habit energies, the projections, the identifications, all of that. And when you stop to chatter, then it is very easy to get in touch.
Yes.
To dedicate yourself to whatever it is that you are doing, whether you are putting flowers in a vase, you know, how do you do it? With what kind of attention and love and devotion, and can we be in this frequency all day? So it is, the retreats here are ongoing. Every minute, every second, every moment.
And how do you know, it's like that is a good context for people to come into and really get rattled quite deeply, right?
Yeah, you know, everything, of course, is happening that is happening everywhere else. Sometimes people, some characters, they rub, you know. And, okay, now, am I going to react? Am I going to resist? Am I going to shout? Am I going to whatever, you know? So now there's some rubbing. So there's a call for something what is servicing here. So I see every situation and every moment as an opportunity to to connect, to experience, to allow. And yeah, then
So suppose you have a conflict between two people.
yes,
You know, how do you have like um do you have a particular way of responding to that? How?
very often they sort it out themselves, and
Okay.
sometimes I come and just listen to them, you
Mhm.
know, and nothing here is a protocol. Everything is spontaneous.
Mhm.
And I inspire them to say, okay, get in touch with what it is that is rising in you, that is irritated, that is frustrated,
Yeah.
you know. And sometimes it is good to say something to another person who's maybe not so aware, you know. Hygiene, safety, all of that is really important. Speak up.
Mhm.
So be natural, be confident, be honest. Yeah, and observe your reactions.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, people learn so much about themselves. And when they come to this connection with themselves and with everything that is happening during the day, they get very happy.
Mhm. Mhm. Because it's really a permission to be themselves, really, to
That
trust
is,
that
that is
spontaneity that is there, right?
exactly, be yourself. And very often there is so much guilt and shame and not being good enough and victimhood and all this stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, fine, but maybe you can lay it down. Maybe we can lay it down and not carry
Yes.
it along.
You know, it's easier to do with some things than other things. Like, you know,
Yeah,
I also work with people individually as a therapist. And, you know, with some people, there's a lot of deeply held pain.
absolutely.
And you know, my experience is that that can not always just be laid down. You know, sometimes
Yes,
it really takes time and a willingness to really feel what's there.
absolutely. So I have a very good contact with a psychiatrist in Amsterdam, and
Okay.
lots of people I advise to go there
Hmm.
when things are too tough,
Hmm.
really too tough.
Yes.
Then so that they have time and attention and proper care
Yes.
to get this attended.
Yes. Because that is important, isn't it? I
It's
mean,
very
you know,
important.
you
It's just
can't
not
just
too
kind of
much.
gloss over it.
No, you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
And it often takes years. Actually, you know, as I see it, the awakening journey starts when somebody is okay and confident in themselves and still feel, is this it? I'm still not happy.
Hmm.
But when they have not very painful, traumatic, psychological, emotional issues, when that is taken care of, then actually the spiritual journey can depart. But many people come with deeply ingrained traumas, like you say. It's just too much. The jump is too big. So this is how how I do. I send them to this wonderful man who
Hmm.
knows also what I'm doing, and
Hmm.
it goes very, very beautifully like this. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree 100% with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, my experience is that a lot of people kind of are looking because they're unhappy. I mean, this
Yes.
included myself, you know. I
Yes.
You don't start looking. Most people don't start looking or searching unless they're
Exactly.
unhappy, you know, they're not happy with their
Yeah.
lives.
Same with me. Same
Yeah.
with me. But I had no psychological issues. I had nothing. I had everything. You know,
Hmm.
I was very fortunate. I could do whatever I wanted. I went to university. Everything was possible.
Hmm.
I was not happy. So that was not on this psychological realm. So when the first book I ever read was I'm That from Lisa Gadata, and I said, this is it. This is it. This is what I've been looking for. This is it. I was immediately on track.
Yes.
But most people, they still have to go like this through their personal pain. And there is a way for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know, the more I work with people and I hear from people and talk to people, it's like, you know, everybody's journey is so very individual.
Absolutely.
And it's like, you know, it's tailor-made for them, because that's
Yes.
that's what they're all about. That's what their lives, that's how they unfold. And
yes,
like, you know, you can't, it's very difficult to generalize about this,
yeah,
you know.
it is so. You walk this journey completely on your own, and the pointers that are offered are specifically for this person.
Yes.
You know, I can say the opposite of of one particular statement to the next person with the same confidence, and you know.
Yeah.
So I see it like that too. It is tailor made. What one person needs is poison for the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this community, what is it that people who stay there for lengths of time, you know, let's say at least 3 months or 6 months, what does that what does that give them? Why is
Yeah.
that in their lives?
Yeah. What I hear from them is that they feel home. And I hear that from almost everybody. The moment they come through the gate, they feel home. Well, there is something here that speaks to everybody. And there is kindness here. There is to everybody. There is never anybody that is not in the boat. Everybody is in the boat. So whoever comes here, they're part of the family. And they feel this family that most of us actually have never had. And that you feel that that is possible. So there is support. You know, the young people carry the suitcases of the older people, and the older people tell the young people how you can get in a marriage for 30 years. You know, how you do that. So there's a lot of kindness and support, and all. And I think a sangha or our community is people feel they can relax in it. It gives like a bedding, some sort of bedding, and they can see, oh my God, this person also has this frustration, and see, this person can overcome it. So I'm sure I can also overcome it. It gives courage. So I find a lot of um, like supporting energy between the people without that they lean on each other. You know, people are really on their own here, but they feel this supportive bedding. And I think that's precious. I wish I had it. Yeah, I felt very, very, very alone during my spiritual journey, my awakening journey.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm incredibly grateful that I can offer it, and in such a beautiful natural environment. Yeah.
Yes, it sounds like a real gem.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of beauty here. Yeah.
So how do you understand that? How is that kindness possible? Is that because there is a shared devotion to truth in the people who are
Yeah,
there?
well, they're really inspired to live their highest potential.
Mm-hmm.
It is demanding. It is demanding to live love and
Yes.
to dig up the love in yourself and to be kind to each other. It is demanding. But why would we ever settle for less?
Mm.
So, yeah.
Mm. It is very demanding,
Yeah.
and I was wondering, you probably know that um, expression of spiritual bypassing.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Do you have comments about that? Because it's easy,
Yes.
especially in a community,
Yes.
which is devoted to truth, for people to kind of, do the spiritual thing rather than be really honest with what's happening for them.
Exactly.
What they
Exactly.
think the spiritual thing is, of
Exactly.
course.
Exactly. And this bypassing, you see also a lot in Advaita Vedanta, where people attempt to bypass by intellectualizing the
Yes.
point,
Yeah.
conceptualizing and intellectualizing, and it's
Mhm.
not what to work. So the teacher has to be very vigilant and aware when this is happening in the students and make them aware about it. There is no bypassing possible. There is just
Mm.
this moment, and how do you respond?
Yeah.
Yeah. So people
So,
attempt it all the time. And what I see now, lately, a lot, is that, as you say, people come because they suffer. Oh, can I be freed from the suffering? Oh, that's really nice. I want this too. And then after a while, they they get to feel really good in themselves. And then lives become more easy, more fluent, their work is nice, they have better friends, they feel more happy in themselves. And what I see a lot is that then they start cocooning. So they start
mhm,
to live their happy lives by themselves. Don't ever disturb me. I'm so happy.
mhm.
So I see this on many levels. You see it a lot in Japan, where people
Ah,
even don't want to be disturbed um, starting a relationship, because then you have to compromise, and so there are a lot of people, especially in Japan, who live by themselves, young people.
mhm, mhm,
But I see also a lot in spiritual communities, in spiritual circles, that when people feel okay in themselves, they go back, have their house, their coffee latte, their yoga, and life is good.
mhm,
And they have forgotten this true freedom that is free of conditions.
mhm.
So,
Shanti Mai, it's interesting because I was living by myself for a long time. And then there was this movement inside that said, it's too easy for you. And I'm now sharing my home with my best friend. And I have to say, for the first year or two, it was actually very difficult
yeah, yeah,
because we'd both been living by ourselves and the personalities really, don't always fit that well together. And it was really tough going for a while because neither of us had expected that.
yeah, yeah,
And, you know, it really meant a level of surrender for me that was way deeper than I ever had.
Yeah, you see, you prove my point.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you get disturbed.
Yes.
When you get out of your cocoon, you get disturbed. And then you
Yep.
see, by your reactions, what is still in. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, when you can live on your own and when you can live in a group, when that really makes not much difference, that is more free. It's more unconditional.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here to really show people this unconditional freedom.
Yes.
But people, they can do what they want. If they want to go this far, this is their life. Of course, it's very fine. But there is more, and
Mm-hmm.
you prove that. You say,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh my God, we were really challenged." But now you have a bigger freedom.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
So that,
it's still challenging at times.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's okay. It's like, I there's no end to coming undone, in
Yeah,
one's personality. And that's a good thing, I feel like that's where we really are free to just be
to
and to
just,
respond in the moment and say, okay, you disagree. All right. Well, let's see how
yeah.
we deal with that.
So what? So what? Uh, but the identity and the identification and the conditions, what you also hear a lot is my life. And people want to protect my life.
Mhm.
Well, that is something different. My life. Freedom is living life of divinity. It's completely impersonal.
Mhm.
So that's how I see it. That this is this this sense of individuality uh, is surrendered.
Mhm.
Is surrendered. So it is, as I see it, living open, borderless.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very naked. Truth is very naked,
Yes.
unprotected.
Very unprotected. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
unprotected, and that gives it such a shine. Yeah,
Mm. Mm.
and there is nothing to defend, nothing to protect, nothing that we need to bring about. Whoa, it's so lofty, so free, so humble
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
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 And this is my love, you know. And yeah, I'm just showing people. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. For mo- it comes as a surprise
Oh
over
yeah.
and over, just
Yeah.
just what it means to really just to really just be here.
Yeah. And
because
more. Sorry.
um well, just because the sense of identity, even after people have had very deep awakenings, it can still be there, in various ways of doing things, or the personality doesn't fall away ever completely. So there's a kind of, there can be ways that people were, that there's still an investment in somehow. It still gets displayed that way, and it's only when there is a conflict or something rubs up against that there's a that it can be seen fully, and the choice is there. Well, what's real in this moment, and then the old habit or the old conditioning can kind of not be chosen rather than always chosen, habitually chosen.
Mhm. It's about the habits, huh? Whether they are prominent or that you're free to respond rather than react. There's such a difference between that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the habits, that they kind of, I feel that's where really living in community or with others is so good, because you do rub against each other, that's guaranteed.
Exactly. And I'm quite happy about how people find the capacity to again and again find a more free place in themselves with all of this. And most of the time, the atmosphere here is light and joyful. And yes, we do have clashes here and there, but most of the time, it's very, very joyful, and we live such deep gratitude.
Mm.
Uh, more and more, the people are in awe with the majestic nature of existence itself. And a strawberry, just a strawberry. And yeah. So
Yeah.
it's so rich and so simple and so natural. It's we are very grateful, very, very grateful.
Mm. And of course, your presence must help in this, because
Yeah, it does. It does.
your presence really brings that truthful being.
Yes, and
It
they
kind
know,
of
it
anchors it
can
there.
only work if they give me this place. If they give me this place of authority. Um, the people of my life, my life people, they are allergic to authority. And nobody's going to tell me da-di-da-di-da-di-da. And many of us have bad experiences with the word authority. And we know it as something suppressive, and that we take away from people. The people with authority take away from people, claim or put them down. And people are not so used to authority that is uplifting them. So it takes a lot of trust to allow that, to allow an authority that is uplifting them to bring out their deepest self-authority. But when people allow it, it is so beautiful. Then we live hand in hand, heart in heart, and just lifting, and stronger legs, and warmer heart, and more borderless life. And it's such a dance of beauty. Dance of beauty. Yeah.
And that's when they really get the support from the spiritual community.
Yeah.
When they're able to really truly receive it, and
right,
then
when
it does have that uplifting effect.
And that demands some maturity. Some maturity. And so at satsang, everybody comes, and then some people go home and say, well, I don't agree. So they have taken it on a mental level and a conceptual level. And other people know exactly what was said. So they have put it in a memory. And other people go out and they don't know anything what has been said. So either they have been asleep or it has gone straight into their heart. So many come with such a difference in maturity. But everybody can get something, if they want. If they want. It's up to the people. I'm just available. And it is up to the people if they want something. And maybe I can give them something. Yeah. It's a resonance, actually, between the one who is longing for peace and the one who can pour out something precious for you. It's resonance.
Yeah. Yeah. And there is a, I imagine for the people living there, that there is a kind of, I don't know, there's a kind of absorbing that happens
Yes.
at a just at a kind of elemental level,
Yes. That is so.
like being around somebody who lives very truthfully. It's
Yeah,
yeah,
and the meditation is going on every day. This place is so charged. So also the postman and the carpenter who come here, they feel it, and they don't know exactly what it is, but they feel something.
yeah.
And so yes, this place is very, very charged. People come and boom.
Mhm.
And that is what we do together. It's not only me, it is together. It is the
Yeah.
spirit of being here, the quality of being here.
Mm.
And that brings about something, the care that we give to everything.
Yeah.
And it's serving everybody who comes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like creating places of beauty and
Yes.
of
Yes.
light and of freedom, of
Yes.
love.
Yes. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. And somehow they kind of shine out into the world.
Yeah. Yeah. That is of course my wish, that when people have been here, they bring it home. What they have found in themselves, that they bring it to their children, that they give their children more undivided attention,
Mm.
and that they bring it to their colleagues and their parents and everywhere. Live it, live it, live it, live it. What you have found, take it home and live it. And they do. They do. And it's heartwarming.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. 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 It's I really appreciate the and I guess it's just a calling that's there. It's just a movement that brings you to create this, right? I mean, you didn't.
Well, um, both my gurus have said that I should do this, I must do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it all my life. But when I was ready, there was no impulse, there was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So my being was so still that I didn't want to go anywhere, I didn't want to do anything. It was just still, it was only stillness.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really pushed into this very hard. Shanti Mai at some point said, "Are you ever getting out of your backyard?" Like, and even now, people have to come with an earnest longing because I have nothing to say.
Mm-hmm.
They get me going when they have their desire,
Mm-hmm.
and then something pours out of me.
Yes.
But if there's no desire, I have nothing to say.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how it works. Then we just take a walk, or yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when there is an honest, a sincere longing and urge, it's just naturally coming out.
Yes.
It's not really something that I want. It is something that I'm born for. I was born for this and this only.
Mm-hmm.
So I just follow my destiny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let me just ask you then, this community, was that a movement that came from people, or did they find this property? Did they talk to you about it, or was that something that really at some point arose also in you as something that?
If Shanti might push me.
Okay.
Shanti might push me, and even before I was ready, she pushed me to find it. And it took me a long time to find it.
Ah,
And yeah, that was actually her energy. And I have, since we have found it, there's not a day that I don't feel immensely grateful
mm,
for this, that we can offer again this bedding for the people,
mm,
that the
mm,
temple is there, it's open day and night, people can come and sit and immerse themselves in the stillness, you
mm,
know. Yeah.
mm.
So when people want something, I'm there. If
Yes.
there is not an impulse from outside, there's not much happening in me. This is how it works for me.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. So in terms of, I don't know, setting the parameters or creating this community, is that also something that just spontaneously
Yeah.
arises, say, in response to, you know, members of the community saying something to you about this or that? I mean, do you have a vision for this, or is it really just something that
No,
the response
I had
arises?
no vision apart from that. I wanted as much nature as possible, because we all know the cars and and the airplanes and the factories. So I really wanted to find something that was um, nature.
Yes.
It took an incredible amount of effort, and we found that, and that was all. Then we just walked in and we had nothing. We just
Mhm,
walked in with our sleeping bag and we started. And I
mhm,
said, okay, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock meditation. And that's how we did, and that's how we still do.
mhm,
And the vision that I have is, I do have some vision about balance on the land. The climate change is rapidly showing,
mhm,
and we are all the time aware, and what can we do to keep the water, to contain the water, to plant new varieties of trees, and all of that, so that on the property, they also, the people see that everything is here. Everything that you meet in the world, we have here. And we have also scientists from universities helping us, hydrologists, permaculture experts, you know, to guide us in this finding this new balance in nature.
mhm,
So that is my vision, to plant as much as we can, to keep it as healthy as we can,
mhm,
and there's a lot of variety, in as much variety as we can have here, to have a healthy ecosystem.
mhm,
All of that I see also as an additional teaching.
mhm,
So we
mhm.
bring the world here somehow,
Yeah.
and so people go as well inside as that they observe nature and what's going on.
Mhm. Yeah. Beautiful. So,
Yeah,
so you have a vision for the land and the
yeah.
nature. Do
Bring
you
it
have a vision
into,
for the community also?
well, awaken is the thing. It is not really about the community, it's about everybody's heart. Awakening is the thing, and whatever is going on is in service of awakening. And people, when they're tired, they sleep. When they have energy, okay, maybe you can pull something, you know, or push something, or, you know. So it is very much also, people are completely responsible for their own level of energy. There
Mhm,
is not really a program here.
mhm,
So usually people say, okay, until what time do I need to work? Well, we don't work here, we live here.
mhm,
And we do things like you do things at home. But
mhm,
they need to be in touch with themselves of how many hours they want to participate. For
mhm.
some, 1 hour is enough.
Yeah.
Other people, 5 hours, like to do something.
Mhm,
And they have to find that in themselves without guilt. You
mhm,
know, this is exactly right for me. And we do everything together, and it always works.
mhm.
So the old people can fold the laundry,
Yes.
you know, that is fine. They do the laundry.
Mm.
And the strong people do more physical things.
Yes.
But in this, there is no program. They need to be in touch with themselves and with their honesty and with their own responsibility. What is right for me? And that is very difficult for people
Mm.
because many of us are conditioned, it needs to be finished. And
Yes.
this property is so big, it is never finished.
Mhm.
And people need to find peace with that,
Yes.
It's not finished. Every day we do a little bit.
Yeah.
Every day we do. And that is, for many people, quite a challenge.
Mhm.
To be alone in what is right for me.
Yes. Yes. So that is kind of a vision, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
really what you're
Yeah.
saying is um, this awakening has to be very embodied. It has to include all of this
Everything. Everything.
human way that we show up. And if that's not included, then
What does it
something's
mean?
not
What does it mean?
complete.
Yeah. What does it mean if we put something away? It
Yeah.
is, awakening is about totality.
Yes.
It is all inclusive. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of ashrams where people have to work from, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
8 to 12 and 2 to 6, whatever
Yeah.
it is. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
very strict rules about,
Yeah.
people really having to pull their weight. So it's very refreshing to hear that, you
Yeah.
know, you're um, that freedom really, and for me, freedom, truth, love, it's really the same thing. It
Absolutely.
includes a deep um, attunement with how we show up in this life,
Yeah.
and how old we are, how much energy we have, how we
Exactly.
feel
And
today.
that you have no chance to hide behind the
Yes,
protocol.
yes,
No, no. This is life.
yes,
We love that you participate. Please do. And if you feel not, okay, you are alone in this.
yeah.
Yeah. But almost always it is natural and beautiful.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I'm reminded I used to teach political philosophy. And I'm reminded of the old um, Marxist communist motto, which was to each according to their needs, from each according to their abilities.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know
that's
that.
well, and that's actually the most natural way of living in
Yeah.
community,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it really means people people contribute what they have to contribute. You know,
Exactly.
if their contribution is an immersion in silence, that's their contribution. If their
Exactly.
contribution is to work in the garden, that's theirs. If it
Exactly.
is to cook a wonderful meal, that's what it is.
Exactly. Exactly. So awakening is being natural.
Yes.
There are no codes of conduct or behavior or nothing, nothing,
Mhm.
nothing. You can say nothing about it. There are no do's and don'ts. It's just be natural,
Yes.
open, available, receptive. Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, I so agree with you.
I hope we can meet one day. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Who knows? I
Yeah.
have my parents are still in Germany. Germany is not very far from France.
No, 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 no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you come. You just come, and we do our little dance in the garden, in the orchard.
Well, I do my little dance in the garden here, which actually, it's very interesting. It was such a total surprise to me because when I moved together with my friend, she wanted a garden.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you do your garden. I'm not interested in gardening.
Yeah,
Not my
yeah,
thing. I
yeah,
had to weed in my mother's garden, so that put me off forever, I thought.
yeah,
And then I discovered gardening.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And it was such a wonder and such a miracle and such magic and
Exactly, exactly,
it's such a surprise.
yeah,
I
yeah,
never knew that was going to be part of my life.
yeah, 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 yeah. I see that here every day. People who have never touched the soil, put your hands in the soil and weed. And
Yes,
they
yes.
one after the other comes to what you have found.
Mm,
Absolutely,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
We have forgotten. We have just forgotten. We have been trained. Well, you have been mentally trained. I've been mentally conditioned very much also, and now we find this
yes,
that we can rely on something more deep and more profound than only our mental conditioning. Huh?
yes,
Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
totally. What a rich life, huh? That we
Mhm.
have found this beauty. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I think we've come to a good ending.
Thank you very much.
Prajnaparamita, maybe you just want to mention at the end if people want to contact you or they're interested in coming to join you for a while, how can they do that?
They can find all information on my website. So for now, I offer every Monday evening online satsangs for free.
Mhm.
I will go on as long as possible to do this for free. And then the retreats are starting again, actually, in 1.5 weeks. We start the summer retreats.
Mhm.
I have an English book also. And there's lots on YouTube. People can,
Mhm.
if they want to see, if they like to connect, there's lots on YouTube to find.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
your
many.
website address is
Um,
prajnaparamita.nl.
yes, Netherlands.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And there is an English section,
yes.
Dutch, English, and a little bit of French. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I speak, most of the retreats are in English. When there is not, when there is one that doesn't speak Dutch, we go in English most of the
Right,
time.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Prajnaparamita.
Thank you so
And
much, Grace.
yeah, that was really beautiful to discover, how this community
Can work.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it feels very organic to me and very, very
Yeah.
free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Free in a good way, free in
Yeah.
a way that allows people to really connect with themselves.
That's it. That's it.
And
Yeah.
and that's
Everything in service of awakening.
yes,
Everything in service of awakening.
yes, yes. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
yeah,
Right.
well, who knows? Maybe sometime we'll meet.
I hope so. That would be so wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. And just to say to people, if this is a video, the first video you've watched, you can go to my YouTube channel, Grace Bubeck, and also to the website for the online offerings. That's living-from-love.com. And you'll find what's happening online these days. Not very much, but I'm thinking of starting a monthly, once a month Sangha, online Sangha meeting, which
Thank
people
you
can
again
join.
for your wonderful offerings for the world, Grace. It's really a huge gift.
Yeah, well, that's just what comes. All right. Thank you again, Prajnaparamita.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.